Hey everyone, so this is going to be an exposition on Dragon Ball Z entitled The Super Saiyan and Spiritual Becoming. So, I'd say the way that most people view Dragon Ball Z and Super Saiyan transformations is just like, an arbitrary kind of shonen trope of to accelerate and expand the scenes of violence. But I don't think that's exactly the case. So I'm going to talk about each Super Saiyan transformation of the main characters in the story. My understanding of it is that the Super Saiyan transformation is like supposed to be the realization of the unmediated self in relation to itself. So what I mean by that is I'll give an example. So I think the most potent example would be Vegeta. So Vegeta goes into space, right, to train in order to achieve the Super Saiyan transformation. But no matter how hard he tries, he cannot reach the Super Saiyan transformation no matter how much he trains. Not until he realizes that the reason why, not until he comes to a realization that he is no longer interested or afraid of not being stronger than Kakarot. So the thing is that Vegeta realized his unmediated relation to himself in the moment he resigned the desire to become stronger than Goku, right? Because Vegeta's understanding of himself was always attached to his competition with Goku. Vegeta had no independent, unmediated understanding of himself. He had not achieved himself yet. So that's why he was not able to achieve the Super Saiyan transformation. Once he did achieve an unmediated sense of himself in relation to himself, he achieved the Super Saiyan transformation. This is also true of Gohan. Gohan sequesters and limits himself purposely to avoid violent confrontations, because not because he can't win them, but because he does not wish to accept himself that his powers are so enormous that he could seriously injure and kill people very easily. So against Cell, once Gohan surrenders, he resigns. He surrenders. He resigns to the understanding that his he resigns to the understanding that his powers are strong enough to destroy people in relation to his desire to protect the people that he loves. He achieves the Super Saiyan transformation. Right? He no longer entertains the controls and limiters of his mind that tell him that he cannot express his powers because he will hurt someone very, very badly. He is now in an unmediated and direct relation to himself, his entire self now, not just his gentle side, his violent and destructive side. That's how Gohan achieves the Super Saiyan transformation. Once he reaches a point of emotional breakage where he is no longer desirous of sequestering his abilities, of only of protecting his friends. So he no longer entertains the part of himself that tells himself that the parts of his identity that he is monstrously strong are not valid parts of himself. They are. That's what the speech of Android 19 gives to Gohan. It tells him to accept every single part of himself, right? Because Gohan does not want to accept the part of himself that's destructive and evil in the form of murdering others. But Android 19 tells him to accept that because he has a duty to uphold. Gohan must fulfill his destiny, and his destiny is to be the savior of the Earth. In order to fulfill his destiny, he's going to have to commit acts of violence. So, yeah. The same is also true of Trunks. Um, Trunks, when Gohan dies, when future Trunks dies, Gohan, when future Gohan dies, future Trunks is made to confront absolute loneliness. The fact that Gohan was his only friend, and now he has to face the world as as an absolutely individuated entity. The idea that Trunks is now all alone in the world and he only has himself. And once that happened, once Trunks was in an immediate relation was in an immediate relation to himself in an unmediated fashion, not through Gohan, holding his hand, right, and teaching Trunks about himself, teaching him about Saiyan heritage, teaching him about Saiyan powers, when Trunks was in complete unmediated relation to himself, he achieved the Super Saiyan transformation. So now the last one to consider would be Goku. So Goku in his fight with Frieza, I believe, mm, had to come to the understanding that after Krillin was killed, he had to come to the understanding that Frieza was irredeemable evil. Goku has so much grace and love in his heart that he will not always go the extra mile to kill his opponent, such as his battle with Vegeta. Like, he did not see Vegeta as being pure evil, even though he was his enemy, so he spared him. But the same cannot be done. The same could not be done for Frieza. Frieza was pure evil and had to be dealt with as such. And once Goku surrendered surrendered the sequestering of his powers in relation to preserving the life of Frieza, he reached an unmediated, direct contact with himself and achieved the Super Saiyan transformation. So, what are the implications of the Super Saiyan transformation in real life? So, the idea is that once the individual fully realizes himself or herself and stands in absolute relation to herself, she can do anything, really. Once you know yourself and you stand in once you know yourself and make your decisions based upon purely your understanding of yourself, not the understanding of yourself by others, not the understanding of yourself imposed on you through society, right? Because society is always telling us what we are. Like, I have society tells me that because I'm black, right, I obviously can't be intelligent, right, because I'm a dark-skinned black man, right? The idea that in American history, the idea of the black male has been so denigrated, demonized, and animalized that I no longer am able to stand in direct relation to myself because I'm constantly telling myself what I am based upon what other people tell me that I am, right? And you may have pressure from your parents or something like that about, like, you know that you're really really good at music and you want to give your life to music, but your parents and the people in the community are constantly telling you to deny yourself. They're constantly telling you to go to college and do a major like econ or pre-med or something like that, become a doctor, become a lawyer, become an economic analyst, but you know deep down who you are and what you're meant to do in this world. And you deny that yourself every time you listen to what other people say, and that tells you what you are and what you should be doing with your life. You constantly sequester and bastardize your true self. So that's one way of looking at Dragon Ball Z, to avoid the bastardization and alienation of your true self. And once you finally discover your true self and no longer run from it and no longer allow other people to dictate to you what that true self is, then you will become a Super Saiyan 2. Alright, goodbye guys.